Hey guys, it's Rovexx. Today I'm going to go over a high damage engineer build for PvP. I'm only level 21, but I think I'm going to be using this build for quite some time, so let's get into it. The first ability I use is Pulse Blast, and this is going to be your volatility generator. It deals a decent amount of damage, it doesn't have a cooldown, the only problem is it has a cast time, but with my build that's the only thing that has a cast time, which is kinda nice. So the second ability you're going to use is going to be Electrocute, and that uses volatility for every time it hits, so you want to make sure that you're not really low on volatility, and if you are really low on volatility you want to make sure that when you use this you're going to land a killing blow. So it deals 358 technology damage to 5 foes every 0.5 seconds. So this is a very useful ability if an enemy's trying to run away, because you can channel this while you're moving, and it hits them 6 times. It's just kind of hard to keep them in it, but once you get the hang of the controls, I have a lot of faith in you guys that you guys will be doing a very great job with this ability. The third ability is Zap. It's an instant cast. It's got a 30-second cooldown. It deals damage and applies a stun to 5 foes, up to 5 foes, and they all have to be inside of this. So I understand that's also, it's a narrow pathway, or a narrow, ability to use, but if you can get your enemies in a line, or kind of force them to be in a line, like get in a position where they are, you can stun all of them, and it works amazingly. Especially, if you pair it with Electrocute, because if you zap them and then Electrocute them, they both have kind of the same, hit area. So, yeah, I mean, I like it. It works well. It's the only CC I have, really. This is kind of a CC. It's called Urgent Withdrawal. It's kind of like Disengage if you guys played a Hunter in WoW. It's an instant cast. It's got a 1-second cooldown, and it's got 2 ability charges. So I see a lot of people using this, and they don't utilize it the way that they should, I feel. I use both charges almost every time because you can control your guy in the air. So when you use this, see how I kind of move to the side? So if you're about to jump off a ledge or something, or you need to get out of something, you can do that. So when you use this, it also puts a snare on the target. So it reduces their movement speed by 30% for 4 seconds, and it stacks up to 2 times, which is very, very useful. Especially because it hits everybody in a pretty big area if you have a lot of people or a lot of melee classes right on you. The next ability is called Quick Burst. It's an instant cast. It's got an 8-second cooldown. It says it deals 862 technology damage to 5 foes, and it's usable after landing a critical hit. So you're going to want to use this, you want to kind of watch where you use it, because it's one of those abilities where you don't want to use it on one person because it's a proc, so you want to make sure you utilize it as best as you possibly can. The next ability is Mortar Strike. It's an instant cast, it costs 50 volatility, and it has no cooldown. It says fire an energy mortar that detonates upon impacting a foe or reaching its maximum range. Detonation deals technology damage to the target and 4 foes. It says it deals 1,549 damage to foes in the center of the blast and 780 damage to nearby foes. So this ability is really good, but the only thing you gotta watch out for is there's a slight gap. Like, if you look right under where it says Sentry PvP, that is the first spot that this ability can hit. So it doesn't start right on your person. So if you have, a warrior or a stalker that's like all up in your face, and you just want to, get him out of there and do some damage to him and kind of freak him out a little bit, you want to try and, what I do is I stack it with my Urgent Withdrawal ability. So I'll hit that Urgent Withdrawal, and then I'll throw the Mortar Strike, and it'll hit him, and hopefully you get more than just one person, but I mean, it deals a lot of damage, and especially if you can use Urgent Withdrawal and then Mortar Strike, and then if you land a crit with Mortar Strike, and then you use this Quick Burst, you're really going to do a lot of damage to that person in a very short period of time, because Urgent Withdrawal hits them twice, snares them. Your Mortar Strike is going to hit them very hard. Probably the hardest hitting ability that engineers have that I've seen so far. And then your Quick Burst is also going to hit them. So if you just really want to get somebody out of your face, that is probably the best way to do it. You can even, use Zap too if you really need to just get away from that guy. And the last ability I use is, I've been trying out a lot of different stuff in this last slot, and Recursive Matrix just seems to be the best one for when you're doing BGs. So, I mean, it's very much your choice in this spot, but this is just what I use because, it adds a little utility to your guy, it helps out the team, it works out pretty well for me. So I'll just read the tooltip. It says, create a 20-meter field around you, lasting 10 seconds. Allies inside the field receive a defense and a stalwart. Defense increases deflect chance by 5%, and stalwart increases CC resilience by 28%. So yeah, I mean, those are the abilities that I use, and they work out pretty well for me, and I'll show you guys some clips after this so you guys can see, like basically what these abilities do in the heat of battle. Another thing I'm going to go over with you guys is my amp powers, and I haven't fully figured these out, but I pretty much just built for damage. So if we go into the amp powers, you can see I built all crit, and another thing, I like a lot of crit. Having a lot of crit makes it so you can use your quick burst a lot more. Another thing is your assault power. I mean, that's kind of a given when you're playing, any sort of damaging class, unless you're going to go support, then you would use support power, but in this case we're going to go assault power. And then I have this unlocked, so I got this. It helps out with keeping your volatility a little, a little up there instead of just wearing it all out and then having to build it up and then wearing it all out. I put my points into strike through. I don't know if I should have done this, but it gives you more armor bypass, basically. So I don't know, it works out pretty well. I feel like I do a lot of damage, and it kind of shows on the damage done meter at the end of the battlegrounds. So the last one is my PvP offense. So I mean, that's just going to give you, the extra damage in PvP. And yeah, so I mean, pretty much I'm built all damage with, 1 CC, a snare, and also a utility ability to help out my whole team. So now let's go over some of, I'll show you guys some clips from the battlegrounds that I've done, and show you guys some of the damage meters and stuff like that at the end. Alright, thanks for watching.